Hey there. Welcome to CrimeDoc, where we uncover chilling stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Today we delve into the disturbing case of the Klor family. Can crime be justified by a nervous disorder? Stick around as we unravel the shocking details behind this tragedy. Don't miss out on the gripping narrative we have in store for you. Let's dive in. Back in 1995, Kansas made a groundbreaking move by passing a law that stripped offenders of the ability to use mental disorders as a shield against responsibility for premeditated crime. This decision stemmed from a troubling trend where nearly every defendant, when facing trial, attempted to wriggle out of punishment by citing an inability to control their actions or comprehend consequences due to mental health issues. Enter the Klor family, once a picture-perfect clan, now marred by a chilling tale of jealousy, rage, and revenge. The head of this family, in a bid to escape accountability for his heinous deeds, sought refuge in claims of insanity. But justice prevailed as he was deemed mentally sound. Psychologists dissected his motives, revealing a toxic concoction of jealousy towards his ex-wife and vindictiveness towards his daughters. Yet, this story isn't unique. Across the globe, crimes fueled by envy and a thirst for payback plague societies. Shockingly, statistics unveil that such motivations lurk behind 1 in every 8 crimes committed worldwide. Excessive suspicion, gnawing, insecurity, and an insatiable desire to control can transform individuals into monsters who spare not even their own flesh and blood. Now let's dive deeper into the saga of the Klor family. James Craig Klor, a man of promise, born in the heart of Weatherford, Texas in 1963, fate intertwined his path with Karen Kahler White, a kindred spirit from the same town, born in 1965. Their love story began amidst the hallowed halls of a Texas university in the early 1980s. Craig, the aspiring engineer, and Karen, the free-spirited humanities student. Their romance blossomed, leading to a union marked by youthful passion and promise. As the years unfurled, the Klors welcomed 2 daughters, Emily in 1991 and Lauren in 1993, building a life of comfort in their cozy Weatherford home. Craig, with his brilliance in engineering, ascended the professional ladder, culminating in a lucrative role at a prominent utility company by 1999. It seemed like a fairy tale until jealousy and resentment crept into the picture, shattering the family's idyllic facade. Empowered by his newfound prosperity, Craig adorned his family's life with luxuries, a sprawling abode nestled in the city's most coveted enclave and a dependable chariot to match. Meanwhile, Karen gracefully assumed the role of homemaker, as Craig assumed the mantle of the family's primary provider. On the surface, they embodied the epitome of domestic bliss. Their daughters, Emily and Lauren, showcased their talents in sports and music, gracing local competitions and events with their prowess. Emily's academic prowess secured her a spot in a prestigious pharmacy college, while Lauren harbored aspirations of a musical career, her talents destined for the conservatory stage. As for Sean, the apple of their eye, his insatiable curiosity and gentle spirit hinted at a future as an archaeologist, drawing him ever closer to his adoring family. Craig's robust earnings provided for their every need, while Karen, with her nurturing touch, cultivated a haven of warmth and comfort. Together, they immersed themselves in community endeavors, striving to elevate their surroundings. Indeed, they were the embodiment of the perfect family, blessed with 3 exceptional offspring. Yet beneath this facade of harmony lurked a shadow of turmoil, concealed from prying eyes. In 2007, Karen confided in her sister, Linda, divulging the harrowing truth of her deteriorating mental state. She painted a grim portrait of Craig's escalating control and surveillance, recounting how he meticulously monitored every aspect of their lives. Scrutinizing grocery receipts to dictating daily schedules, Craig's grip on their existence grew tighter with each passing day. Their entire existence revolved around his whims, from bedtime routines to moments of intimacy, all meticulously orchestrated by Craig's ironclad decree. As Craig's grip tightened, Karen found herself ensnared in a web of obligation, her every moment consumed by servitude. Desperate for reprieve, she complied with Craig's demands, clinging to the hope of reclaiming their former life. Yet Craig's thirst for dominance only swelled, rendering any semblance of freedom a distant memory. Linda, grappling with the revelation, was shaken to the core. The man she once revered as the embodiment of paternal perfection now stood revealed as a despot ruling over his household with an iron fist. Karen, torn between preserving her family and asserting her independence, opted for a path of quiet revolution. Aware of her financial reliance on Craig, she resolved to carve out her own niche in the workforce. Despite her seasoned years and the demands of motherhood, Karen's dedication to fitness kept her in remarkable shape. Her clandestine escapes for daily jogs became her sanctuary, a respite from the suffocating grip of her husband's control. In the shadows of Craig's dominance, Karen found solace within the walls of a local fitness club, pouring her frustrations into each vigorous workout. It wasn't long before Karen's diligence caught the eye of the club's management. Recognizing her allure both in physique and work ethic, they extended an offer for her to test her mettle as a fitness instructor, a prospect Karen never dared to imagine. There was an opportunity not just to indulge in her passion, but to earn a livelihood doing what she loved. When Craig inevitably uncovered Karen's secret outings, Karen braced herself for a storm. To her astonishment, Craig's reaction was not one of fury, but of acquiescence. He welcomed her newfound independence with an unexpected tranquility, even expressing approval at her initiative to earn her own income. His conditions were simple. She must still adhere to their domestic routine and uphold their intimate life. For Karen, these terms were a small price to pay for the autonomy she craved, liberated from the shackles of financial scrutiny and endowed with the means to cater to her own needs without seeking his approval. Amidst the rhythmic pulse of the fitness club, a new figure emerged, Sonny Rice, a vibrant addition to the instructor roster. In Karen, Sonny found not just a colleague but a kindred spirit, and their camaraderie blossomed into a deep bond. For Karen, confined to the roles of wife and mother for years, Sonny became an oasis of friendship beyond familial confines, a confidant she trusted implicitly. Their days were woven with shared moments, walks, coffee breaks, and heartfelt conversations, each nurturing the seeds of an unspoken affection. As their connection deepened, Karen grappled with the weight of secrecy, the burden of unspoken truths straining against the fabric of her marriage. Months of agonizing preparation led to a pivotal moment, the confession to Craig. To her surprise, Craig's response was not one of fury, but of unexpected acceptance. Yet, his conditions bore the hallmark of his control, an invitation to join their newfound bond, transforming their love into a twisted game of dominance. At first, Karen acquiesced, hoping to salvage the fragments of their fractured intimacy. However, the novelty soon wore thin, revealing Craig's ulterior motives. Their once harmonious trio descended into discord, and Craig's presence became an unwelcome intrusion. Faced with his wife's defiance, Craig's demand for cessation fell on deaf ears. Karen's heart had found its home in Sonny, and no ultimatum could sever their connection. Bruised ego driving his actions, Craig concocted a desperate plan: relocation. In the quiet whispers of clandestine meetings amidst the tumult of strained relationships, Craig sought refuge in the promise of a fresh start. With meticulous precision, he laid the groundwork for their exodus to a distant state, believing it to be the panacea for their fractured family. In the shadow of impending departure, Craig clung to the hope that distance would extinguish the flames of Karen's forbidden love, ushering in a return to the semblance of normalcy he so fervently desired. The summer of 2008 marked a challenging transition for the family as they uprooted their lives for a new city. Despite the initial struggles of adjusting schools and making new connections, Craig's lucrative job offer promised a brighter financial future. However, his belief that the move would sever Karen's ties with Sonny proved to be wishful thinking. Despite increased responsibilities, Karen and Sonny clandestinely maintained their relationship, meeting in secrecy and communicating through calls and texts. Karen, resigned to the demise of her marriage, found solace in her affair with Sonny. Their hidden rendezvous persisted until a fateful New Year's Eve in 2008, when their indiscretions were laid bare at a gathering attended by friends and family. Craig's rage boiled over as Karen's infidelity was publicly exposed, leading to a tumultuous scene where he lashed out physically, leaving Karen shaken and bruised. In the aftermath of the incident, Karen confronted Craig and declared her intent to end their marriage. Despite Craig's pleas and attempts at reconciliation, Karen remained resolute, initiating divorce proceedings and seeking custody of their children. Craig, desperate to salvage their family, resorted to pleading with friends and relatives to intervene, but Karen remained steadfast in her decision to pursue happiness with Sonny, asserting that their marriage had never brought her true contentment. In early spring 2009, tensions between Craig and Karen reached a boiling point, culminating in another violent altercation. Karen, fearing for her safety, took decisive action and reported Craig to the authorities, resulting in his arrest. Despite his claims of innocence, stating he was merely trying to calm her down, Karen chose to take her children and leave, refusing to wait for the divorce to be finalized. For Craig, the fallout was devastating. Not only did he lose his family, but he also felt betrayed by his daughters, who sided with their mother after witnessing her newfound happiness. This sense of abandonment fueled Craig's resentment, leading him to cut off communication with Emily and Lauren, isolating himself with only occasional contact with Sean. Despite the ongoing divorce proceedings, Craig clung to hope for reconciliation, resorting to increasingly desperate measures to monitor Karen's activities. His obsession led to reckless behavior, including stalking and attempts at surveillance, ultimately costing him his job and financial stability. Forced to move back in with his parents, Craig's downward spiral continued as he devoted his newfound free time to stalking Karen, prompting legal intervention to keep him at bay. The Thanksgiving of 2009 turned into a nightmare for Karen's family. Seeking solace in a visit to her grandmother in Burlingame, Kansas, Karen and her children found themselves thrust into a horrifying ordeal. An alarm call to the Burlingame Police Department revealed a scene of terror, gunshots echoing in the night, a small truck fleeing the scene, and a young boy, Sean Kahler, crying for help. Inside the house, a grim tableau awaited the authorities. Dorothy White, Karen's 89-year-old grandmother, lay gravely wounded but miraculously alive, while the lifeless bodies of Karen and her daughter Emily bore witness to the tragedy that unfolded. Lorraine, Karen's other daughter, clung to life, her desperate pleas indicting her father as the perpetrator of the violence. Despite the valiant efforts of medical professionals, Lauren and Dorothy succumbed to their injuries, leaving Sean as the sole witness to the horrific event. Psychologists worked tirelessly to support him through his trauma, but his testimony would be crucial in unraveling the truth behind the tragedy that befell his family. The harrowing account provided by Sean shed light on the chilling sequence of events that unfolded on that fateful evening. Craig Kahler, armed with a shotgun, barged into the house and callously gunned down his ex-wife, Karen, before turning his attention to their son, Sean. Miraculously escaping, Sean fled to seek help while his father continued his rampage. Craig Kahler's violent spree triggered a statewide manhunt, with law enforcement swiftly tracking his movements. Ultimately apprehended, Craig surrendered without resistance, his demeanor reflecting a shattered psyche and resigned acceptance of his fate. In a startling confession, Craig detailed the series of events leading to his heinous actions, citing betrayal, humiliation, and a downward spiral into despair. As the trial unfolded, Craig's defense pivoted to a plea of insanity, painting a picture of a man driven to madness by a cascade of personal tragedies. Attorney Thomas Heaney argued that Craig's actions were the product of a fractured mind, a consequence of his unraveling mental state amid a crumbling marriage and mounting despair. The courtroom grappled with the complexities of mental illness and culpability as Craig's fate hung in the balance. For Craig Kahler, once a pillar of his community, the trial marked a reckoning with his demons and the consequences of his actions on that tragic Thanksgiving evening. Prior to 1995, criminals could exploit leniency through pleading insanity. But in Kansas, where the crime occurred, such loopholes were closed. Craig Kahler's meticulously planned actions, including the premeditated purchase of weapons and targeting his entire family, demonstrated calculated intent rather than insanity. Despite sparing his son Sean, Craig's deliberate actions left no doubt about his guilt. In August 2011, Craig was convicted on all counts and sentenced to death, a verdict upheld despite his appeals. Sean, now an adult, testified during the trial, expressing a desire to preserve his father's life despite the tragedy. Craig remains incarcerated, persisting in efforts to appeal his sentence. Following the tragedy, Sean was placed in the care of his maternal grandmother. Now an adult, he has pursued education and opted to remain in his home state. Thank you for watching, everyone. Make sure to subscribe to CrimeDoc for more gripping stories like this one. Don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss out on our latest uploads. There are plenty more shocking tales waiting for you.